Israel is trying to provoke a war with Lebanon. They just carried out a massive terrorist attack across Lebanon that maimed over 4,000 people. Israel seems to have intercepted pagers used by Hezbollah, which is not just an armed group, but also one of the largest political parties in the country, and made all of the pagers explode at the same time. Hospitals are currently overflowing with patients, and there are at least 11 confirmed deaths. Israel also had no way of knowing where the pagers would be when they detonated. This means that they knew that they would likely kill total bystanders. Videos showed phones exploding in supermarkets, bazaars, people's private homes while they were driving, and children are among those who are dead. Political parties across Lebanon are condemning this as an attack on the entire nation. Israel did this because they want a war with Lebanon. This isn't even a secret. Israeli politicians and military leaders have been talking about invading Lebanon for months. Israel's been bombing southern Lebanon on an almost daily basis, basically begging Lebanon to respond, which would give Israel a pretext to go to war. In April, Israel moved 2 brigades that fought in Gaza to the border with Lebanon and held drills simulating an invasion. And in the last week, there have been numerous reports quoting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying that Israel was preparing to invade Lebanon. Yesterday, the Israeli War Cabinet voted to update its goals for its war in Gaza to include the return of Israeli settlers to Israel's northern border with Lebanon, which is basically code for invading southern Lebanon. Immediately after the War Cabinet took that vote, Israel carries out this attack. There is no way to interpret this as anything but a deliberate attempt to provoke a Lebanese response to help Israel get the war it wants. Israel knows that as soon as they have to stop their genocide in Gaza, the whole world will see that they've not only failed to achieve their military objectives, but that they're also going to be held accountable for their crimes. So their strategy is basically to keep extending the war forever. They think that invading southern Lebanon would force the US to deepen its commitment to protecting Israel. But this insane logic of starting a war to deepen US support for Israel may very well not work. The US has repeatedly said that they don't want Israel to attack Lebanon because if they do, they'll be fighting against Hezbollah, a group which is far better armed than Hamas, which the Israeli military hasn't been able to defeat. It's also widely believed that Hezbollah has enough missiles to overwhelm Israel's Iron Dome air defense, which would basically allow them to decimate Israel's capital, Tel Aviv. We're going to keep following the situation as it develops, but for now, let me just end with this. We can never forget that this is all being done in your name. These pager bombings are not only being paid for with your taxes, but your elected representatives who claim to represent you have been justifying and excusing Israel's crimes in Gaza every single day for the last 11 months. They had every chance to pick up the phone and tell Israel to stop months ago. They didn't. Israel feels so emboldened now to do whatever it wants that it's carrying out blatant acts of terrorism as a way of getting our military to fight their genocidal wars. If this happened in Israel or the United States, we would probably be in a third world war right now. But since it was Israel, Congress doesn't say a thing. The Biden administration says they don't even know who's behind it. If our government can't even condemn Israel blowing up thousands of people's pagers in busy city streets in broad daylight, what will they condemn? What does that say about our government? And when will we finally say as a country that we've had enough of this so-called special relationship between the United States and this rogue terrorist state of Israel?